The big bad pro wrestler Armor King has returned to Tekken. As always with all of my beginner guides or the ultimate beginner guides, this is not aimed at advanced or pro players, of course. This is more for people who play the game casually and just want to get into the character. That means we're not going through the full move list. Armor King as well, same as King, has lots of moves. We're going to break it down to just a couple of ones, and you can then advance from there yourself if you want to. What I want to do with this video is give you a basic foundation so you can then start playing and see results. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting out with the pokes, Armor King is a really good poke character. He's not like King where you want to be super close to the opponent all the time. You want to be more at a mid-range, and you want to throw out some pokes to keep opponents at bay, right? And his moveset also reflects that. Lots of his moves have actually a pretty good range. So your focus is more on whiff punishing and poking. Starting out with some basic pokes, you have 1-2 or 1-2-1, of course. It's the same string that also normal King has. Then you have 2-1, which is also a string that King has. So if you're already playing King, you are a little bit familiar with a couple of the moves. A good low poke is down 3. It's the stomp that King also has. Then you have back 4, also good range poke. And you can transition that into a stunner. Back 1-2 is also a good poke. And if you hold forward, you can go into stance. He also has a decent down forward 1. From the pokes, we go right over to the fancy stuff. That's how I like to call the unique moves the character has. He shares, of course, a couple of things that normal King has, which is, for example, the giant swing. It is the same input, and it also has like very much the similarity with it that if you do it at the wall, the damage will be very good, right? So you see there, boom, that's like 70 damage. You can also blue spark it. To get the blue spark, I have also already made videos about how to get blue spark throws with King. You can give that a watch if you want. It's not too difficult if you ask me. Giant swing blue spark is definitely something that anyone can achieve. The only requirements for that is you need a clean and a fast input. But it is much more forgiving. It's not as difficult as, for example, Blue Spark Shining Wizard. Speaking about Shining Wizard, that's the running throw he has. And as you can see, it has the same animation as Giant Swing has. Usually in Tekken you can tell by the arms coming out which break button it is. So in this case you see the right arm is forward, so that means it's a 2 break. But if you do a Giant Swing, which is a 1 break, he actually has both arms out. Like this. This here is a 1+2 break. So every command grab in this game of every character usually has 1+2 break, while normal throws have a 1 break or a 2 break, or both. Now in Giant Swing's case, same as with normal King, this is a 1 break, and this is a 1+2 break. But it looks the same, right? It looks the same. It has the same animation. So it is a true 50-50. You can still anticipate when King players will do which throws. When someone is running at you, they will usually use the Shining Wizard. What you can do is you can run up to the opponent and then just go into a Giant Swing, right? To actually apply some mind games. And of course at the wall you want to try getting the Giant Swing to the wall. But if you see the opponent is actually anticipating that, you can always go for example, the DDT, which is a 1+2 break. It doesn't give really good Oki, but it leaves your opponent at the wall. So it can be handy. Please keep that in mind. You want to apply some mind games with the throws. Another thing that he has, which is unique, is when Armor King is in heat, some of the moves get enhanced. So this is the normal up back 1, which has a really good range, by the way. A good keep out tool, and you can also go into a shoulder after that. It's guaranteed. Now if Armor King is in heat, you see the flames, right? It costs heat to use it, but it is much stronger now. it actually becomes a launcher. Normal is +5 on block. And in heat, it's +8. So you get much better plus frames. It is also a homing move, which is very good. But it is a high, so people can duck it. Another move that gets enhanced is his down back 2. Yeah, it's a mid poke. And it doesn't have any extension with 1. If you press down back 2 and then 1, nothing happens. You can use down back 2, 3. But in heat, you actually get down back 2, 1. And that is also plus on block. So he gets a new extension in heat from down back 2. And that is down back 2, 1. I recommend checking out the move list to see what heat actually does. Then we have his most unique tool, which is the green mist. The green mist is, as you can see, 35 frames. But in heat, it's 25 frames. So it is faster in heat. And what it does is as follows. It gives Armor King an unbreakable throw. But the throw will be scaled. So while your opponent cannot break any throw after you hit him with that move, and it's also unblockable by the way, they have no chance to break the throw. But the throw will deal less damage. Armor King also has a very special ground throw. So when the opponent is lying like that, face upwards and feet towards you, you can press down back 2+4 and you pick up the opponent. This will not deal any damage as you can see, but if you do this at the wall, you get something like, for example, back 1-2 guaranteed. So what you can do is after you get a wall splat, you just tap 2 and then do the ground throw. And this will give you enough plus frames to do a guaranteed back 1-2. And since you are using back 1-2, you can also hold forward to get into stance. There you go. And then from there you can start your offense. More on that a little bit later when I talk about flowcharts. The last unique thing that I want to talk about is he actually has a Wind God Fist basically. It's called Dark Upper, or in this game it's called Dark Smash. But yeah, you can actually do something like this. Yeah, stuff that you see the Mishimas use all the time. You definitely have an advantage if you were playing Mishimas in the past. From Dark Upper, we can go straight into launchers. Dark Upper is a launcher, of course. And usually what you can do is if you hit a Dark Upper, you can usually do a second one. If you cannot do that at first, just stick to one Dark Upper. It's totally fine. And then you can start your combo game. Next launcher he has is while standing 1. So you duck an opponent's move and then punish. He also has a crouching down forward 2 launcher, just like King, but his one is much slower, right? Then we have forward 2. You can consider this a poke as well, because it's safe and it has good range and it's a mid, yeah. But on counter hit, it's a launcher. Then we have something like a Snake Edge. It is down back 3. It's very evasive, but it only gives you an instant tornado, so not a full combo. And it is 22 frames. So it is a bit on the faster side. Sometimes it's harder to react to than normal Snake Edges, but you have to be careful with it still, because people can blow you up for messing that up. Up 4 or up forward 4 is, it even works with the up back 4, but usually you want to press up forward 4. It's a hop kick, but it's one of the weaker hop kicks in the game. You see the range is not that good. Still another launcher you can use. And now my favorite launcher he has, it is while standing 2. Because on counter hit, that is a launcher. It is a 12 frame counter hit launcher, like full launch, but it is harder to get it right, because if you're ducking and just waiting for your counter hit, you're ducking, right? So you can take mids, you can get blown up for doing that. This is where you want to apply flowchart, maybe at the beginning, and I'm going to talk about that soon. Also, please keep in mind the follow-up. You can actually do a blue spark version of it, and it is very simple, very forgiving. When Armor King is breathing fire, you can just do the input for the Wind God Fist. You don't have to input it like when it's done. You don't have to wait and do it like a perfect frame timing. The whole time here, I was already finishing the input. I'm not even pressing the 2 button as soon as the uppercut has to get out. I'm just doing a smooth, kind of slow actually, not super fast. A smooth, clean input and then press 2, all that while he's breathing fire. And then you get the blue spark every time. It is not difficult. But if you can't do that, just stick to 2. Yeah, you can basically just spam the 2 button. And this will happen. With the launchers covered, let's see what we can do with them. I'm talking combos, of course. When it comes to Armor King's combos, you can, of course, start out with the sample combos. The game always gives you sample combos for the character. You can look at them and also try applying the stuff that you see on screen. You can also let the game show you how the combos look like, and you can also pin the comments so you have them on screen. In the past, I used the sample combos for the Ultimate Beginner Guides because I thought they're pretty handy, and they still are. But with Armor King, I want to do something different. So there's a very specific string that you want to use for all your Armor King combos. And that string is forward 3, 2, and then 1. You can also use forward 3, 2, and then press down forward, right? There you go. Because that will make King go into the wave dash, into the beast step. And from there, you have all the options of the beast step, which is the lariat. So this would be the normal lariat input. You see it on screen right now. But from beast step, you can just press 1 and get the same result. This string, both versions of the string you see on screen right now, is what you want to use as your combo structure. When you start with the launcher, doesn't matter which one. You can use this launcher while standing 1. You can use the dark upper. You can use crouch down forward 2. You will always start with the launcher and then you will go into this string, into forward 3, 2, and then you hold down forward for the beast step. And from there, you press 1, so you get your lariat. And from there, you do basically the same string, but instead of holding down forward after the 2 input, you just press 1. And there you have your tornado. As I said, it works with any launcher. It's always the same combo structure. And if you're familiar with normal King, you can then do a running power bomb, for example. You can also do forward 1+2, which is his power crush. That will bring the opponent into a tailspin. And from forward 1+2, if you hold forward, he goes into stance. And from stance, you can actually apply an air throw as a combo finisher, which looks like this. What you also can do after the power crush is you can go into heat. And then you can end in a power bomb, for example. My recommendation is you get familiar with the forward 3, 2, 1 string and also the forward 3, 2 down forward movement. So you get the beast step and then the shadow lariat. And once you got this done, you can piece it all together. Start with something like this. Launcher, forward 3, 2, beast step into the lariat, forward 3, 2, 1, into a power bomb. It will always take some time to build a little bit of muscle memory, but this is the foundation. Once you have that foundation, you can always build on it. You can add something in between, like for example, a wall carry and then a wall ender, yeah. It's very, very modular, but the foundation of the combo is always this string, right? In case your opponent gets carried to the wall in one of your combos, you can always end in a wall grab, which looks super cool, obviously. You don't have to do any fancy inputs or something special. You just press grab when the opponent is at the wall. It works both ways. 1+3 and 2+4, it doesn't matter. And you also want to do that because if you do, for example, the giant swing input, you will get your opponent away from the wall, and you don't want to do that. Another wall ender that you can use if you can't get the throw out. It's a very reliable one. It is also one of his strings. It is down to 4-3. And it looks like this. Next point on my list is the stance. He has a stance called Bad Jaguar. You can access the stance by just forward 3+4. And even though they gave him the stance, Armor King is not really as oppressive or stance rushdown, some, for example, like Lydia. You can do a couple of things from stance, right? You can use some moves to go into stance, but it is not as powerful as other character stances. What can you do from stance? So you can press 1 from stance. It's a very fast, high poke. And if you press 1-2, you can go into heat. You can also press stance 3 for a power crush. Lots of people out there, they know that your stance is not that aggressive, so they will try to interrupt you while you go into stance. The power crush is there to make people respect your stance, so they don't press into your stance mix-up or into your stance offensive, which gives you the time to actually apply 50-50. Stance 4 is a pretty good low, quite unreactable. He also has stance 2, which has an extension that is stance 2-4, and it ends in this super cool stunner. This is your mid attack from stance. He also has 2 grabs from stance. One is 1+3, just goes into the giant swing, and 2+4. Whenever the opponent is in the air, Armor King will do an air grab from stance. You saw that already in the combo section. You can also apply the green mist, which is forward 1+2 in stance. And then, same as before, you get an unbreakable throw. And he has a spear. Spear comes out if you are in stance and then press down back 1+2. But usually you want to stick to the mid, the low, and the throws, yeah, as your main 50-50. You can go into stance from back 1-2, I already said that, holding forward. You can also go into stance by holding forward after the power crush. Power crush is forward 1+2. And you can also go into stance from forward 4 neutral 2 while holding forward. So instead of just pressing forward 4 neutral 2, you press forward 4 neutral 2 and then hold forward again. Now for some whiff punishes, you have back 3. Back 3 is a really good whiff punish. It has good range and it instantly goes into a tornado. So if you're more advanced, you can start a wall carry combo, or if you want to play it safe, running power bomb, right? And then you also have the dark upper. The range is around 3 meters. This is the same stuff that you see Kazuya plays do. You can do a sidestep into whiff punish. The punishment techniques for the dark upper are very similar to the electric wind guard fist from Mishima's, yeah? So you do a sidestep into the dark upper, or just wait for the opponents to whiff something and then you go in from more far away. Down back 3 might also be a pretty good whiff punish because the range is very good. You can see this pattern with Armor King a lot. He has moves that have really good range. So what you want to learn with this character, I think whiff punishing with this character is more important than with any other character in the game. Or at least he's high up there. Because that's what he has. He has really good range. So you have to learn your spacing. For example, a very, very far away up back 1. You can sometimes miss the shoulder, you see? So you want to move a little bit forward and then do the shoulder. You want to know at what range you are. Because if you are here, it was very close, but now you get blown up. If you are here, you're way too close to the opponent. You get counter hit. But if you're like here, you find the sweet spot. Yeah, you have very strong keep out and also of course, with punish gameplay. Tekken 8 is a game that has lots of characters that want to be in your face, that want to be very, very aggressive. Armor King is a nice change of pace because he actually teaches you patience, and he teaches you not to mash all the time, and he teaches you to properly whiff punish the opponent's mashing. We are almost done. Let's just take a look at some flowcharts. Forward 4. If it counter hits, bam, you hear this big counter hit sound. Boom. You are plus 12, which means you get a guaranteed crouch throw. Because the crouch throw is 12 frames. This also applies to down forward 1-2. Because if 2 is a counter hit, boom, you get your guaranteed crouch throw. This can sometimes actually work. You're doing some of this, poking, and then you whiff on purpose. The opponent presses a button because he thinks, no, I whiff punish, and then you go with the 2 extension. Boom, blow them up. If the opponents fall for that, keep going. I always say it all the time. If something works, just abuse it. If something you use is unsafe, but the opponent is not punishing it, it basically is safe. So just do it. A flowchart that is working very, very good at the moment, it is because people don't have knowledge about the character that much, because the character is new. As soon as you arrive in blue ranks, you will see people not falling for this flowchart anymore, but in my opinion it is still way too effective, so I recommend using it. And the flowchart is as follows. You want to do sidestep 2 into another 2, because Armor King is crouching while doing this, which means you will automatically apply the while standing 2 launcher on counter hit. Many people, they get hit by this. They think they can now start pressing, and if they do, they get blown up, because then your while standing 2 launcher hits. You can also use sidestep 4. If it counter hits, it blows them up, it starts a combo, and it is safe on blocks. So you can do counter hit fishing with it. So doing sidestep 2 and sidestep 4 is a good game plan. This move here, down back 3, if you get a counter hit, cool, because you get a tornado. But on normal hit, you don't get the tornado. You can still use it as the flowchart. Yeah, so you're plus 6, and Armor King is in crouch position, so you can use while standing 2 to get the counter hit launch, like this. So on normal hit, you're plus 6 in crouch, and your while standing 2 is only 12 frames, which means that if the opponent is deciding to mash into this, you're going to get your counter hit launch. So this is also a very, very nice flowchart. And if the opponent blocks, you're still safe. Now let's put the full flowchart together. You do your counter hit launch or any other launcher that you hit. You go into combo, and if there's the wall, nice. If you don't get the wall, you have to do a little bit of wall carry. And then at the wall, you use heat, okay? You pop the heat. And then you press 2 into the ground throw. So after the ground throw, you have enough plus frames to do back 1-2. And you are in heat at the wall. So what you're then gonna do is you press back 1-2 and hold forward to go into stance. And while you are in heat, your stance power crush gets an extension. It is stance 3-2. You cannot use this move out of heat. The second input, stance 3-2, doesn't do anything. But stance heat 3-2. If that connects, you get a wall splat. Keep in mind it's a power crush. If people press into it, they get blown up. If they block though, you are still plus 5. So in case they block, you can still keep your offense going. For example, let's say this one plus 5 into a grab. Why not? You're plus. But if they press into that for whatever reason, or they don't block, you get a wall splat. You can press back 3 and then do the, for For example, wall grab. You can do the wall ender, which is also fine, right? So let's take a look at it in the full sequence. And now the opponent is almost done. You now have Oki situation. You can use Beat Smash forward or whatever, something else. I don't know, maybe this one here or this one. Yeah, you have all the options. So this is your flow chart you want to use. Please keep in mind that the ground throw can be broken. But at the moment, I don't see people doing that. But in case the opponent is breaking your ground throw attempt, you can always end with something like this, right? With a wall ender. That's also 91 damage, which is still pretty good. All right, you got yourself a couple of tools now to get your Armor King going. I hope all of this was kind of helpful to you, especially as a beginner, because I'm always trying to not blow up your minds with too complicated stuff. I'm trying to keep it simple because too much information can actually have the opposite effect and you don't learn anything. So keep it slow, keep it steady, find your own pace. As with all the fighting games out there, Tekken is a game which is very, very deep, very complicated. It has a lot of legacy. It makes sense if you're new to the series to start with simple things that work. Use the stuff for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks if you need, and then you build step by step, one step at a time, and it is just natural that you will not master a character within a week. By the way, we are close to 3,000 subscribers on the channel. I would be very, very thankful if you guys can make it happen. If you're watching this, if you're not subscribed yet, throw out the subscribe. It is very, very easy. It's just a click of a button and it doesn't cost you anything, and it would help a lot. As always, if you like the video, give it a like. If you also want to add something that you think is also helpful for beginners, just put it in the comments and I will read and also reply to the comments if I can. Usually I reply to every comment if there is something to reply to. And if there is something very helpful, then I will also pin it, of course, so everyone can see it. I will now show you, as with all my beginner guides, a couple of clips from real matches where you can also see the flowchart and the combo in action. Yeah, have fun with that and enjoy playing Armor King.